seen as a way out of poverty and homelessness, but unstable living conditions make college more difficult. My study uses photo voice to explore the experiences of students attending college while homeless in hopes that better understanding leads to better supports. I asked students to take photographs of anything they felt relevant to their experience attending college while homeless, and then explain them to me in a one-on-one Zoom interview. Afterward, my colleague Dr. Groton and I analyzed the transcripts and the photos and identified 4 major themes: trying to move forward, feeling the need to hide, the duality of resources, and necessary supports. I've included an example of each. Starting on your left, trying to move forward. All the students felt college was their best way to improve their lives. And this student told me that she was in school now so that in the future, dinner didn't have to look like this for her and her daughter. Next, feeling the need to hide. This student took a photograph of her windshield on a rainy day. At the time, she lived in her car. It was during the COVID-19 shutdowns, and she told me she would park in the university's parking lot so she could use the school's Wi-Fi to attend her classes. All the students were resourceful. However, she also told me that every hour she would move her car across campus because she was afraid she'd be noticed. She was embarrassed she lived in her car. Worse, she was afraid that security might notice her and ask her to leave. It happened in other parking lots. This stigma had a broader impact, though, because all the students told me that at one point the school actually reached out and offered support, but they were hesitant to say yes or to respond because they didn't want to be identified. To this point, only 50% actually were enrolled in supportive programs. Next, the duality of resources refers to situations where help actually came with it new difficulties. For example, this student was gifted furniture and other supplies by a supportive family member, but since she had nowhere to live, she had to buy a storage unit, and now she told me it's frustrating because she has to pay for it and she can't even use it. Finally, necessary supports. These were identified needs, and of course, housing was number one. So this student took a photograph of her new keys. Thanks to financial aid and a supportive program, she was finally able to move into a dorm room. She told me this was her first set of keys, and she was very proud. Other identified needs were food assistance, transportation assistance, access to a washer and dryer on campus for laundry services. All the students had at least one photograph with laundry shoved into a backpack or sprawled across the back of their car, and that dirty clothes contributes to that stigma of homelessness. These little things we could do. I also identified counseling because 50% of the participants, again, had experienced childhood homelessness, which is its unique form of trauma. Finally, persistent and supportive outreach. As I said, only 50% of the students were engaged in programs, and they didn't do so on the first offer, but once they were engaged, they got relief, and they said that they stuck around because they felt supported. Thank you.